welcome back. Welcome back to another live edition of Legend from the Past and the Future Show. Roger,
What's going on?
We gotta keep Deneen awake tonight, man. What you think?
What happened?
Huh?
I told her last time, leave that cognac alone. It'll come up on you. Especially that expensive cognac, that cheap stuff take a while, but that top line be on you, boy. One second.
I'm telling you. Well, look, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Deneen?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
You excited?
Yes. I mean, Mr. Baker, right?
Mr. Baker, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested. I mean, he's so relevant for right now. All the things that are going on. We need people like him.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he did.
He's a fighter.
Huh? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
He's a fighter.
Yeah. How you doing, Raj?
I'm doing good. I mean, now we got the extra duty to keep Deneen awake. You know, I don't know how we're gonna do that. You know, see, that's when I could tell when they rookies with the cognac. You got to sip it. You know what I mean? Let me show you what I'm talking about.
See, Amon, I was just talking about that earlier today. Wasn't I just talking about that earlier today?
Ever. Huh?
The brothers and their dark liquor.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I don't know nothing about it.
I don't, be honest with you. I don't drink no more. I ain't had a drink in. Damn. When last time I had a drink?
How long?
I don't know. I think did I sip something at your house that one time on? And I'll say no.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. What was that? That was a few months ago.
You know, the peanut butter.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
What's peanut butter?
Yeah, I don't. My liquor basket is full.
What's peanut butter?
It's a peanut butter. It's dark liquor. It's brothers in their dark liquor. Deneen already talking about that. So yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a peanut butter. It's called Screwball. It's a peanut butter whiskey. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I got it over there in my liquor basket. I got a little liquor basket. That's when my nephews come up, and we be looking at games and stuff. And they always go for the expensive stuff.
That's right. Take care of the fam.
Okay, I have a drink and then go get some cognac. And so if I didn't have cognac, what would you get? I would have got the cheap stuff. Then what you go for the cognac for then?
Well, look, Tim, we have an exciting guest tonight. He's a legend. He went to Maryland State. When Maryland Eastern Shore was Maryland State, that's how far back he goes, and it's a pleasure and an honor to have him on our show tonight. So you guys ready for him?
I think, is he ready for us? That's the flip around. Because Deneen been different since she been crowned Queen of Uganda.
That's right.
Let's bring him on. Let's welcome to the stage none other than Willie Baker. How you doing, Mr. Baker?
I'm doing very well, considering everything.
I'm sorry. Consider what now?
Considering all that's going.
There it is, right there. Okay, sir. How you doing?
Good boy.
Okay, A-okay.
Welcome to the show. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show tonight, sir. So what we do first, we travel back down memory lane and tell everybody where you were born and raised.
I was born in Sanford, Florida. That's Central Florida, about 15 miles east of Orlando, and attended Goldsboro Elementary School in Sanford. Segregated school.
It was segregated?
Oh, very segregated. Absolutely.
Okay.
We had the old books that the white schools were throwing out. They sent them over to us. Pages torn out, raggedy books. But that's what we worked with. I was fortunate. My mother was an elementary school teacher, a class of 37, Florida A&M. So she taught me before I started school. And we had 3 classes in one room. And the teacher would have me read to 1 to 2 of the classes while she worked with the other one. So yeah, it was a very segregated place.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Well, what are some of the things you used to do? Were you athletic? Did you play any sports while growing up or in school?
I started track when I was in the 5th grade, high jumping. And then when I was in the 9th grade, I switched to pole vaulting. And that's what I did in college also.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So you went to college. Did you go to college off a track scholarship back then, or what was that like?
No, I did not have a scholarship. I graduated from high school and I was out of high school a year working and earning money. And I guess it was Easter break, I was in the pool room sitting around because I couldn't shoot. So I didn't bother with that. I was just sitting there doing nothing. And one of my high school mates came in, Al Seabrooks, and said, "You ought to go to college." And then another friend of mine came in, Richard Davis, they were both at Maryland State.
Mhm.
Richard said, "I'm going to talk to the track coach because we don't have a pole vault. We'll see if we can get you in." And they got me in, not a scholarship, but they got me into the school. That's how I got there.
Wow, wow. And so you did run track in college.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
what was your major while you were there?
Social science major, English minor. English because it was easy to do with science, so it fit in perfectly. I would rather have been a math minor though, but that required a lot of classes that I had not taken yet.
Understood. Understood. Well, we're going to begin the process. I'm going to pass it over to Deneen and everybody that's out there on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. Subscribe to the show. Deneen, on you.
Subscribe and share. Right. All right. So, Mr. Baker, so happy to for you to be here tonight. I mean, I had a little chat with you backstage, learn a few things about you. But one of the things that grabbed me about you was your activism. And I know that started with you working, right? When you were working as let me write this down. Tell us where you were working.
I worked from my sophomore year in high school until I finished college. I worked at the P.J. Ritter Company, and we made tomato ketchup there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what started it. So you kind of emerged as a leader there because of what? Because of the way they treated people, or?
No, I think emerge as a leader. That's an interesting way to say it. Activism, I guess, started when I was very young. I grew up on Gilbert Avenue in Bridgeton, New Jersey. And at the time I grew up there, we did not have streets that were paved. Mm-hmm. We didn't have running water, and we did not have electricity on our street. And my father and a number of other men, I don't know why there were no women there, they marched down to City Hall demanding that we get running water and sewer on our street. And my father took me with him. So I started marching when I was, I don't know, it's probably 10 or 11, I think. It's a long time ago. But I think it was about 10 or 11. So that was my first demonstrations.
Oh, that's good. You know what? That's so good. Me and Amar was talking about, we were talking about like things that are hereditary, things that you get from your parents or whatever. But if you hang around them long enough, no matter how they try it, you're going to end up with some of the things that they have. And that was one of the things that you had. I can relate to that because my dad was very active. I used to be on the mall in DC, whenever they had any kind of marches or anything like that. So, yeah. So you, at an early age, you found out that there was going to be injustices and that somebody needed to stand up for it, right?
Somebody had to do something. You couldn't just let it go the way it was.
Right. And then at work, I know it said something about how you were the executive vice president.
Executive vice president of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
That's an organization of Black trade unionists, although we don't discriminate, anyone can join. Founded in 1972. I was at that very first convention. And what we try and do is teach leadership skills. We have a convention each year starting on a Tuesday and ending on a Monday, so it goes for a week. And we lay out what we think are the issues that are important to the Black community and to Black labor and labor in general. We have resolutions that are put out. We have debates on the floor for resolutions. We then formulate those, whatever they are, and we vote on it. And if we do it, then we send them out and the local chapters carry them out as best they can. And every 2 years, now every 4 years, we have election for officers. And I was fortunate enough to be elected executive vice president. William Bill Lucy was the president at that time.
Now, are you still active in that organization?
I'm executive vice president emeritus, and
Right.
I run the resolutions committee.
What do you guys have? What are some of the latest resolutions? Do you have anything on the table right now that you'd like to share?
Oh, the biggest one is voter registration. Lanes
Mhm.
have to vote. There's no other way. Well, there may be other ways, but one of the most effective ways to make change is who you elect, because politics determines your birth certificate when you're born and your death certificate when you die, and all the things in between are decided by politics. I think
Right.
Fauntleroy was fond of saying, politics determines who gets how much of what, when, and where.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that we have to continue to push when we start talking about voting and voter registration is how important the local government is to the community. That the local government is what's controlling, what's happening in your community, your street lights, all those different things that happen in the local government. Because for a long time, people didn't really know that, and so people would not even think about voting at the local elections. They would just go out and do the whole president thing. And although this president seemingly has, ultimate power, the way that our system is set up, the president does not have that kind of power. The local government does. So yeah, it's real important for us to push the fact how important local elections are.
Absolutely.
So that's good.
That's where the stop sign comes in near the school that keeps kids from being hit by trucks and cars. That's local stuff.
Yeah,
Clean
that's
water. That's local stuff. Sewer works that we didn't have on Gilbert Avenue when I was growing up.
The paved roads, right?
Yeah.
See, I think people have to hear that because it resonates with them. It's like, oh, you have a stake in this. This stuff affects you personally. And I think people need to hear that more often when we're talking about voting, because we'll be talking about voting even more. We need to be pushing the vote because of this platform. We have so many people watching. We need to remind people that they need to get out and vote. And you're here tonight letting us know how important that is. So I'm going to pass it over to Roger once you're done.
Yeah, to save our democracy, we must vote.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Roger.
Thank you very much, Queen of Uganda. It's an honor to have you here, Mr. Baker. Now, your bio was very good reading. There's a plethora of things in there. But I noticed something keep popping up all the time. Talk to us about the UFCW.
The UFCW is the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. It's a merger of the Meat Cutters Union, Amalgamated Meat Cutters and Butcher Workmen of North America, very long name. But it was basically meat cutters. And the Retail Clerks was a union that represented mostly people in the retail food industry. And they merged in 1979. I was fortunate enough to be at that merger convention as an officer of my local union. And then 5 years later, I was asked to come to Washington to become an international vice president for that union.
That's amazing. Now, I saw that your local was 56, right?
Local 56.
Yeah, and then what was it? 1989 came around as a huge year for you. Promotion, big giant promotion. Also, you had a lot of states under you, right? What were some of the states that were under you during your time in that position?
Well, when I was public affairs director, which is politics and legislation, I had a legislative director and a political director that reported to me. We did national things. Then when I was a regional director, I first started as a regional director in 97 in Atlanta, Georgia. I had the old Confederacy, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, North and South Carolina, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands that I was responsible for.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know, and you did it. So all the stuff that you did, was it that time that you spent with your father when you went to that first demonstration? Was that what led you to the direction that you ended up in at this present moment in time?
It probably did, but there were a couple of steps after that. After those demonstrations, I was in college my junior year. We could not eat at Red Mirror's restaurant in Princess Anne. And there was a demonstration led by Johnny Wilson. And we couldn't get in, so we sat in the street and got arrested. That was my first arrest. And I must say, my father never complained one time about me being arrested. He never said, Junior, I didn't send you down there to get in no jail. Didn't say any of that. He just said, oh, okay, and went on.
Wow, that's amazing. My first arrest had nothing to do with that.
It was all you.
Well, it was a few of us. I was downtown. I was stationed at Fort Bragg, downtown Fayetteville, North Carolina, and went to a place called the Flaming Mug. I went in there to get one of my soldiers, and of course, my skin tone wasn't a tonage that they allowed in there. And being a soldier with other soldiers, it ultimately ended up in a physical confrontation. And our first sergeant came down and he said, "Did y'all win?" Yes, first sergeant said, "All right, let's go." You know, but things was a lot different back then. With that being said, we're gonna get off the jail time and go talk to Army.
Right.
So Mr. Baker, I noticed where in 1991, you were on a democracy tour to South Africa, and you actually met Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. How was your experience?
I thought it was a good experience because they laid out, well, first of all, CBTU had supported South Africa. We didn't have any guns to send, but we sent Gestetner machines. These are machines that are used to print flyers. So they could print flyers and hand out in South Africa. A large number of the Africans in South Africa did not read or write. But if you have a flyer with some pictures on it and the emblem of the African National Congress, the ANC, they understood what that was. So we did that, and we had them come to our conventions, some of the people from South Africa. I came to DC in 1985. Thanksgiving 1984, 5 people were arrested at the South African Embassy. They refused to leave and they were all arrested. That following year, I got to DC and we did demonstrations at the South African Embassy 5 days a week for 1 full year.
Wow.
You could not hear at the South African Embassy until you go to Walter Fauntleroy's church, and there were classes there, about 2 to 4 hours, depending on how many people, that talked about South Africa, explained to you what South Africa was, what apartheid was, how apartheid affected the population. I think it was something like 89% of the population was black. Whites were less than 10 if they ran everything. So after you learned about that, then you were allowed to be arrested. And we did that for 1 full year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
Yes.
We have a problem with, abstaining for something for a day. In this day and age, we can't do nothing for a day as one unit.
Almost every black group that came to DC for a convention or whatever was looking to go to the South African Embassy and be arrested. We had a lot of following. It wasn't hard to get volunteers. They were there and they wanted to go.
Wow.
By the way, that's one of the things that bothered me. The South African government was white.
Mm.
They murdered Africans. They took the land. They owned everything. And we had lots of people object to it. But the same thing happened in Nigeria.
Mm.
God held people to be arrested at the Nigerian embassy. Same problem. Only difference was Nigeria was black on black and South Africa was white on black. Shouldn't be. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Doesn't matter who it is. It's right is right, wrong is wrong.
Right, right. Nobody's free.
I really appreciate this history lesson that you've given us tonight. So tell us a little bit about your Israel and Lebanon experience.
The first one was 2 weeks in Israel. We visited the whole country, but the highlights were we met with Likud and we met with the political party that Menachem Begin ran at one time before he passed away, and that the present government is Likud. And we met with the Labor Party. And we talked about the problems in Israel and what they were doing about it. And the scary part was when we met with some Likud representatives, they told us that God had given them this land. It was theirs. When people believe that they talk to God, the rest of us talking to them doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely.
You can't talk to them then. It's over with. So I came to the conclusion that this is not going to get settled. As long as you believe that you're entitled by historical, biblical rights to something, no one is going to be able to work out a negotiated deal where everybody gets something and we end the killing. Not going to happen.
Isn't that where we are right now? I mean, we're still in the same spot. We literally are in the same spot. I mean, that's exactly what's going on right now. That is why we are engaged right now, because of the same mentality.
So what's your thought on that, sir?
My thought is the West Bank was supposed to be the Palestinians' land, and Israel would be the Israelis' land, and they were dividing it up. But all over the West Bank, there are Israeli settlements. And once they're in there, how do the Palestinians have a country? It was a two-state solution that we were working for. And some people talk about the two-state solution even today. But unless two willing partners, it doesn't work. There are Palestinians who want to kill every Jew in the land, and there are Jews who want to kill every Palestinian in the land. And as long as those two entities control their side of the border, you can't get it settled. You got to have some peacemakers someplace. Otherwise, you just keep killing.
Yes. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Deneen.
Yeah, you had already talked about it, but I just wanted to go back to how what you were talking about in the past and the injustices, we're still dealing with that right now. So when you talk about land grabs, intimidation, assassinations, it's the same thing that's happening today. I mean, it's heart-wrenching when you start thinking about how we had so many people fighting for freedom and fighting for all those things back then. But then we're here today and we still have a lot of the same issues. And I guess the question that I have is, what makes people like now? Nobody's fighting. Everybody's just going about their own business. What do you see the difference between, the people back then when you were out there and the people that you interact with now? Is it like a different temperament? What is it?
I don't think it's a different temperament. And there are still people even today who are active. We had a demonstration here in D.C., all the churches in D.C. on 16th Street. We picked the date. I didn't pick it, but I joined in with them, of course. 4:30 to 6:30. We're standing out on 16th Street, and we had our signs up in support of democracy. That was all the churches up and down 16th Street. There were lots of people out there, black and white. The church that my wife attends, Zion, was there. And 2 blocks from Zion is 19th Street Baptist Church. They were there. And there was a Mormon church across the street, and they were out there demonstrating with us. So there are people who are doing it. It may not get the ink that it got at those times. In fact, I sent a picture out. I was demonstrating there, and the picture said, "Here I am, 60 years after my first arrest in Princess Anne, still demonstrating."
Well, we need you. We need you. We need people like you to pass the torch, to remind us of how important it is for us to have social responsibility. So we appreciate you still being in the streets, still pushing for equality and justice. Love that. So yeah, I guess the question is, you just said something. You said people are still out there, which we know, and of course the media and all those things, they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know that people are still out there. They want us to think that, you know, the fight is dead. But yeah, people are still out there. I mean, we need more people out there, but yeah, people are still in the trenches. So that's good to know.
And you said about passing the torch. I'd love to pass the torch. Someone come take the torch, I'll give it to them. They don't have to take it from me. I will give it to them, because that's how we're going to win. I thought Texas was interesting last night because we had two people running for the Senate who are both very good, by the way. Very candidates, both of them. One is 38, and I think the other one is about 45 or 46. There are people out there who are trying to do things. So yeah, it can be done. It absolutely can be done.
But it starts with the vote, right?
The vote is the big piece, because that one determines who makes the rules. In the House of Representatives, if you can get 218 votes, you can call today Thursday and make it official. You can get 218 votes. Okay,
right.
That's the key, getting enough control that you can make the rules.
And then also, I mean, the census is important too, right? Because when they do the census, that determines, you know, how much power your area is going to have, right?
Yes, it's about 750,000 people for each congressional district in round numbers. That goes up, of course, as the population increases. But that can be played with also. There's been some discussion by the President of the United States that he doesn't want the census to count everyone.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's the
whole purpose of the census.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would take us back how many years? You don't want to count everybody. You got one vote, one man.
And one vote.
One vote, one man. So yeah, that's true. You know, I wanted to ask you, because I saw you said something about that you had met Desmond Tutu. And I guess I want to say it was like in the 90s. He was in America a lot. He came here and he preached it. He came here and made visits to churches. Did you remember anything like that happening?
I remember him at the city hall. My college roommate was John Wilson, when I told you he led those demonstrations. He later on became the chairman of the D.C. City Council. And he and I were there together, and we met with Desmond. But even before that, well, back up a little bit. We did the Democracy Now! Tour. We met with Mandela, and we met with other people there. One of those we met with, I'm a labor person with the union. The head of the mine workers union at that time was also very active in the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa. He is now the president of South Africa. One we dealt with. Thabo Mbeki, who became the second president of South Africa. We had him here in the United States when we met with him, and we set up tours so he could travel the country and lay out what apartheid was and what it was doing. So I've had the fortune, luck to meet 3 of the 4 presidents of South Africa before they were presidents of South Africa.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, that gives you an inside view. I mean, even beyond what was happening over here. I mean, that's just that the apartheid is another level of what we have to deal with, right? That's another level. So that gives you, I can see how that would drive you to continue for justice. Okay.
Well, apartheid didn't start in South Africa. 1947, the Nationalist Party sent representatives to the United States, to the southern part of the United States, to learn how segregation worked. And then they took that back to South Africa, and it became apartheid. We are Jennifer's. We are the genesis of apartheid. We do it.
You've got a text message.
Wow, that's good information right there. I mean, I'm sure. I certainly had never heard that before, but I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, but also the Nazis in Germany, 1930 or 35, might have been 36. They sent representatives to Arkansas to learn how segregation was done against black folks, and Germany, and did it on the Jews. So we have spread a lot of bad stuff around the world.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we're still in it. So go ahead, Roger. What you got?
Nothing now. But anyway, in 92. Tell us about being the observer in Kenya during the elections.
The multi-party elections in Kenya, yes.
Right.
That was just before Christmas, and we were there. We stayed in Nairobi, of course. I'm a jogger, by the way, so I go out jogging a lot, and I made the mistake of going out in Nairobi to jog. Did not understand, was it 6,000 feet above sea level? I was the first 15 minutes and couldn't figure out why. So I turned around and walked back to the hotel thinking maybe I was ill or something. But it was altitude. There's no oxygen up there. Well, very little oxygen at that level. And the car,
your lungs have to increase.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when you go to Fort Carson, Colorado.
Okay, could be, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but this one is pretty high. But the cars also traveled the British system, which means you're looking in the wrong direction for cars as you're jogging. So between that and altitude, it's a tough place to go running. I'd advise it to anyone. I ended up in Nakuru, in the southern part of Kenya, which is where the Rift Valley is. That's where the Leakey family found, they say, the oldest living humanoid, not living, skeleton, Lucy, at the beginning of the travel for man. That's the area that I was in. And we were up for 26 straight hours visiting polling sites. Yeah, we were tired. We were sleepy. But I guess adrenaline kept us going. And the thing that I noticed there that disturbed me the most was you go to a polling site and the vote is 366. You go to another one and it's just the opposite. People were not voting as Kenyans. They were voting ethnic identity, tribal identity. That's not how you build a nation. A nation has to have some pieces that tie it together, that make it one. They didn't have that. That's a good example also of the difference between South Africa and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe had two basic tribes, and they had two leaders. Before it was over, Robert Mugabe ended up being president, and he was trying to have his partner in the war for freedom assassinated. South Africa had lots of different tribes, but they all unified under the banner of the African National Congress. Of the African National Congress, when Mandela was in jail, was a Zulu. Mandela comes from a different tribe, but they all work together to get rid of apartheid. The partnership works. You got to have allies in what you do. Zimbabwe is a failed state now. The first time I was there, the street lights were on. There were lots of people walking on the streets. The last time I was there, between the airport and the city, there were no lights. It was all out. The country used to be the breadbasket of Southern Africa. Now they have to bring in food to feed people.
Wow.
But they're not together. It's not a unified state. That was a long answer to your short question. I'm sorry about that.
No, that you know what? Roger, I left
it's-
it. So hold on, Roger. I left that question for you because I know you thought I was going to take that Kenya thing, but I didn't.
oh, I got some other stuff down there because I read his whole bio,
Go ahead.
and he was also explaining to us about being a delegate to Brazil. Tell us about that.
We were meeting with the CUT. The CUT is the Brazilian labor movement. It's a federation of many different. And we went down there to meet with Vicentinho da Silva, who at that time was the president of the CUT. By the way, the president just before him, when we first made the arrangements, was a man named Lula. Lula left the CUT to run for president of Brazil, and he won.
Amazing.
He was arrested by the next president of Brazil, who tried to do a coup when his term was out and he lost the election. So Lula is back as president of Brazil after a 4-year absence and a jail time too. He spent time in jail for his activism. So yeah, Brazil was interesting. They were trying to set up something like the Coalition of Black Trade Unions. So they asked us to come down and work with them, and we did that. Happy to do that, actually.
Oh, that was awesome. Now, you talked about the 2 states. Could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Which 2 states? And
remember, you said they was trying to make you wanted to make a 2-state situation
in Israel.
Yeah.
The Balfour Agreement, which was set up shortly after Israel became a state in 1947, was supposed to have Israel as a Jewish state, and then the Palestinians were to have a state of their own. They'd be next to each other, but they would each be an independent country. That has never happened. Part of the problem was after 47, when Israel became a state, the Arabs said, we're not going to be inside of a Jewish state.
Mm-mm.
And they were promised by the Arab countries around them that they could take the whole country. So a number of them left, and there was a war. Now there have been 3 wars since, trying to eliminate the state of Israel. They failed. So now the 2-state solution is just not happening. And I don't know how you get peace there without a 2-state solution. It would be nice if the Israelis and the Arabs were able to live in one country, have equal voting, and be peaceful. But that's just not happening. There's too much hate on.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
It's like you said, there's too much hate, and it's when somebody believes it's a biblical thing, you hit the nail on the head. It's hard to convince them that even though you think it's a biblical thing, it's still not right. Because if you look at history, the largest and most bloodiest wars we have ever had have been about religion.
Yeah.
Look at them. All those bloody wars, that's where the beheading came from, the castration, all that came from those wars about religion. And you can't, if my mind is set that this is a religious thing, you are 100% right, Mr. Baker. It's not going to change. I don't care if you offer me gold, houses, money, whatever. It's not going to change because my mind say it's biblical and I believe it's from God. And with that, I'm going to change it over to armor. See that caveat?
Hey, sir, we're gonna take a brief second because we got some breaking news.
What?
We got some breaking news.
What?
On 21 March, Legends from the Past and Future Show will have the annual awards dinner, our annual awards dinner. On that night, we're going to be awarding 4 legends with an award. We're also, for the first time, we will be giving out a Lifetime Legend Award to the family of Delorma D. Goodwin. On that night, we'll have catered meal. We'll have a DJ. We're gonna have a nice time. Now, tickets are $50 in advance. You can either Zelle it. There's a Zelle sticker up there in the left corner, or you can Cash App, go to Eventbrite, and pull us up. Now, you can also, if you can't make it, make a donation. Half the proceeds that night will be going towards scholarships and internships. So make a donation if you're not going to be there, but make every attempt to be there. Again, on 21 March in Annapolis, Maryland, at the Mount Olive Life Community Life Center, we will be having our annual, all right, awards dinner. See you there. Okay, Willie, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to close you out shortly, but we got a few more questions. The Hawk for Football. How involved are you with the Hawk for Football? Trying to get that football program reinstalled over at Maryland Eastern Shore.
I've made contributions to that, but I have not been one of the organizers of that. That's really been Brian Mitchell and Gerald.
Wayne Gerald?
Wayne Gerald, yes. They've been trying to put that. It takes a lot of money, by the way, to have a football team.
It's a lot of money, but it brings in a lot of money. What's your take on that? Do you think they should continue with that, or just let it go?
If you can figure out a way to have an annual budget of somewhere between $2 and $4 million a year, do football. Now, if you can't do that, you may need to think about what else can you do. Now, remember, we're in a town. I think there's 2 or 3 traffic lights in the whole town of Princeton.
Still?
So, College Park pays for a football program because they get 50 to 60,000 people in the stands, and they get revenue from television that pays for the program. We have no ability at this point in time to get revenue for a football game at Maryland State College. And we have stands. And if we fill those stands completely, we still don't have what we need. But yeah, football would be great. And we've had some great football players at Maryland State. I named a few of them earlier. Johnny Sample, Art Shell, Earl Christie, Sherman Plunkett, people like that I knew. Now, there are a lot more who came after me that I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Came before me. But yeah, it's a great idea. I just don't know how to do it.
I got you. I understand. Well, Deneen, do you have anything for Mr. Willie?
I have one more question. So do you have anyone that you're mentoring? Because obviously at some point you're going to be stepping aside, and we talked about that before. So do you have anyone that you're mentoring? Do you have any kids? Do you have any kids who are, interested in some of the things that you've been interested over the years? So just trying to figure out, what's going to happen when you decide that you don't want to do that anymore.
I have 2 children. Kim, who's the oldest, and Keith, who's the youngest. He runs a barbershop in Wilmington, and Kim is in Atlanta, Georgia, working there. Either one of them is in the labor movement.
Right.
Now, they've been to some demonstrations, but barbers work a lot of hours, 10, 12 hours a day. It's an amazingly hard job. So
right.
None of them are doing that at this point in time. Are they perfect? Absolutely. They grew up seeing it. They grew up helping with the campaigns in Bridgeton that we ran for people. We ran a lady who we knew for mayor of Bridgeton and I ran her campaign. She got 47% of the vote, did not win. But because of that strong showing, she became president of the city council there in Bridgeton. And we had other folks who ran campaign. I ran a campaign for freeholder in New Jersey. Freeholder county government, and the term comes from who could be a freeholder. You had to be white, male, and a holder of land. I am none of those. Well, I had a house, so I guess I had land technically, but
so you didn't win, right?
A whole heap of it, but I ran anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, got to start somewhere. Now, is there a person? Do you have a person that you believe would be good? You know, would be a good person to be, you know, be in the trenches. Do you have like somebody like that? You know, usually you're like, oh yeah, I got this person would be good.
There are a number of people like that in CBTU. Our St. Louis chapter with Lou Moy, he does a great job there. Our New York chapter does a great job. DC does good work too. So yes, there are people around who Dominion Melvin, who runs the under 40 group for the CBTU. Fabulous job. Fabulous job. There are people like that all over the place. And there are things you can do that make differences. We were talking earlier about bananas. Chiquita Banana did not want the Caribbean islands to sell bananas to Europe because the Caribbean island bananas were more expensive. And they said that they should be bought by the whoever had the cheapest bananas, which was Chiquita and the other big banana growers. The Europeans bought the bananas from the Caribbean because that was their way of making up for the colonies that they had done there when the people were not free and they were run by the Europeans. We did a tour there of a number of banana islands and made appeals to the International Trade Organization not to do what Chiquita Banana wanted successfully, because bananas are so important a product for the Caribbean.
Yeah.
The ships come, take the bananas back to Europe, but because the ships are large, all the other products that they grow in the Caribbean are able to be transported to Europe and be sold. If they lose the bananas, the ships won't come. And if the ships don't come, those other food products could not be shipped to Europe.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good information right there.
All the time. You just have to do them.
Well, that was one. Now that was interesting to me because that was one example of social responsibility. They finally did something that was beyond themselves. So there is hope.
Oh yeah, they did that. They did that.
That's it. That's all I got. Right. That's all I got. We're running out of time. Roger, you got anything else?
I did, but you know, you took up all my time. No, I was just like 30. You say one question, but you end up asking a man 30 questions all tied into one. But that's okay, because I know being the queen of Uganda, you used to having your way. But anyway, Mr. Baker, I just want to say it was an honor and privilege to meet you tonight. We really appreciate everything that you have done for us as a people and everyone else, because I noticed in all of your explanations and stories, you didn't just say you was doing it just for us. You did it for everyone. So it's a heartfelt thanks from me for everyone. And we appreciate you. And thanks for showing us the light, because the light is starting to get really dark today.
You ain't never lied. Well, and remember, nobody's free until we're all free. That's what I get from, you know, the things that you've been saying.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So, you know, Mr. Baker, I'm going to let you close us out. But before you do that, I want you to meet. She was once our intern.
Who that?
All right.
Deneen?
Deja. She handles our media. Right now, she's actually working towards her master's. Deja, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello. How are you?
Can we see you?
Oh, okay, fine.
Get that young energy.
Yeah.
Deja
Deja
Hi.
She kicked us to the curb.
I didn't. I'm trying to focus on my school.
Hey,
Where do you go?
Oh, I go to school at Frostburg State University in Western Maryland.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
so she actually got her 4-year degree from there, and now she's working on her master's from Frostburg.
Yes.
Congratulations.
She liked the mountains and the snow. Yeah. But, sir,
Yes.
it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. And next week, we will have your classmate.
Hey,
who was
Deja.
Miss Maryland State. Miss Maryland State, Teresa Wilson.
Teresa Cheeks Wilson, yes.
Yes. So can you leave us with something encouraging that you would like to leave for the audience out there?
I think we have to realize that every little thing that we do to change the world makes a difference. We can't all run for president. We can't all run for Congress, but each of us can do something. If everybody does something, we will win in the end, because most of the Americans really do support where we are on the big issues. Sometimes other things get in the way. Racism gets in the way, sexism gets in the way, but ultimately, if we keep our eye on the prize and keep pushing the plow, we will get to the success that we need to get to.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That was really, really good. Thank you very much.
Glad to be here. By the way, you may want to interview my wife one day too.
So you kind of shortchanged us, because we wanted to do that newlywed game tonight with you and your wife, but you vetoed that.
Yeah.
But
Veto.
My wife was the executive vice president of the AFL-CIO.
Oh, okay. Business.
She was the highest ranking African American or person of color in the American labor movement.
Mm.
Okay.
Democratic Party.
All right, well, let your wife know she knows the email address to send us her bio,
Okay.
some photos.
I'll do that and suggest that she ought to volunteer to be on your program.
That sounds like a winner. And
We would love to have her. We just got that her and Deneen talk. That killed about 3 hours through women talk.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna put it out there.
hey, sir, I will be contacting you sometime tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, I'll be around.
All right. Everybody, see you next week.
Next week, everybody. Bye, Deja.